before the audition
I was
process,
in
were you
Los
already based
Angeles.
in? You were where?
I was in Los
You
Angeles.
were in
Yeah,
L.A. Okay.
I was already in LA.
Okay.
Um, and I had been in LA for actually quite a few years. I'd done a number of pilots and guest stars, and my career had kind of gone up and down. I'd been like, I don't know, maybe I should just give it all up and become an architect. um, and it's so funny, like in my career, when I announced that's it, I'm done, like something happens. And I remember just before I auditioned, telling dear friends of mine that was it. I'd had enough. I'd had enough of Los Angeles. I'd had enough of just banging my head against the wall. And I auditioned, and yeah, lo and behold, there I was.
With Teyla. Wow.
Yeah, with wonderful, wonderful Teyla. I loved playing Teyla.
So
Oh
you
my God.
auditioned from L.A. and sent a tape up?
No, actually, I auditioned in person.
You did. Okay.
I first of all, I auditioned with the casting agent. I auditioned with Ivy Eisenberg. And actually, that's a hilarious story because I got to say, I went in, I met with Ivy first, and I've always been like an artist in terms of like really working on my lines, et cetera, et cetera. When I came in and I did the read, and she was like, Rachel, that was wonderful. That was probably the best read that I've had. I'm going to bring you back. You're going to meet the producers, but I'm going to need you to do this. You're going to need to wear, and she was like, you're going to need to wear some heels. You're going to need to wear a push-up bra. You're going to need to, she was just like, she was coaching me through because I think I kind of came in and I was like, like, I don't know what I was wearing, but it was not right. She was like, you gotta sell it, girl. And I guess I did. But she was just like, please, this is, yeah, what you're bringing is amazing, but you also have to bring it.
Yeah.
I think at that point I was like over bringing it. I'm like, God, Hollywood, I don't want to have to. But anyway, it's okay. That's also part of, listen, it's part of the industry. It's an industry, it's a
Yeah.
business. As it, so you have to play the business angle as well. But yes, I was in Los Angeles. I auditioned in person. And I, everybody shook my hand at the end of my, it's called a test. You test for the network. And everybody was just like, and I thought it was a seal deal. And then a week passed, didn't hear anything, another week. And then I heard that I didn't get it. They're like, sorry, Rachel, it's gone another way. I'm like, that's it. I knew I should have given up. But I went on
Vindicated.
to a bunch of other things. And then out of the blue, it was like, they do want you up there. I had like 3 days to get myself up there before they started filming the pilot. It was just like, oh my God,
Wow.
my God. Yeah. So
They just went another way with the character, or something
I
wasn't
don't even
working?
know,
You
and
don't
I've
know.
never asked. You can ask,
Oh, I will.
like,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know, yeah, it wasn't. I had thought it was a done deal. I thought, oh my gosh, this is great. It just feels so amazing. Everyone just, and then I didn't get it. And I auditioned with Joe.
Oh.
Joe and yeah, we auditioned together. Yeah,
Wow. So for the network test?
for the network test. Yeah, yeah. It's the first time I met him. I met him, yeah, in the waiting room. And I went in and I did a little scene on my own, and then they had the two of us come in. They wanted to see about, chemistry. Do they work well together?
Was he a lock at this point?
I believe he was.
Okay.
Yeah, he was. He already was. Yeah. So, and it went great, but who knows?
Wow. Yeah. We talked with Rainbow a couple of weeks back, and he had literally like 72 hours before he had to fly from Toronto to Vancouver. So did you do a Vancouver to LA commute like Joe did, or did you settle in Vancouver at that point?
I settled in Vancouver. I mean, Joe had a family,
Yeah.
and he already had his kids, and they were in school. Blah blah blah. For me, it was just me and my sweet little dog Nala.
I remember Nala.
Yeah, right. You remember Nala?
Yeah.
It was just the two of us. So, every once in a while we'd drive down, but no, we didn't do the crazy commute. I bought a house. That's where, Vancouver is where I met my husband.
Yeah.
That's where Caden was born. Caden still very much considers himself to be a Canadian. And he is. He's a Canadian citizen. But, Yeah, no, I settled there. I lived in Vancouver for 8 years, 8 years of my life. Yeah, oh, maybe 7 years, 7 years. 2 years after the show ended, I was still pretty much there, and then yeah, and then we moved back to Los Angeles.
It is a great city to spend time in. Once this thing is all said and done, if you get the chance, if you've not, listeners, if you've not had a chance to visit, I completely recommend it. And it took me forever to go up there and actually look around, because every time I would go, I was in studios with you guys. And everyone's like, oh, you've got to see such and such. You've got to see such and such. I'm like, there's no time. There's no time. I'm booked for interviews wall to wall when I'm up here. So, and then I eventually started discovering the city, and I was like, this is a wonderful city with all kinds of divergent little aspects to it, little boroughs where there's different groups of people, different kinds of food. And it was just, it's a great place to live. So yes, I would have to imagine. So.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's a fabulous city. And, every once in a while, they're like places that I used to go to that I really, really miss, and like just lovely restaurants and the walks that I used to go on, etc. It is a wonderful city. The one thing that I didn't love about Vancouver is that when it got dark, it was dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I would go back and forth on occasion with Caden back to Los Angeles. And I remember on this one occasion we came back and we stepped out at I think it was 8 a.m. in the morning to go for a walk. And it was like so dark. And I remember little Caden stepping out and saying, "No, mommy, night." I remember being like, "Oh, sweetheart, no, it's not night. It's just the sun." Oh. But other than that, it is an extraordinary city. It's beautiful. It's like the Emerald City.
Yeah, in many respects. Absolutely. Yeah. I have been privileged to know so many of you guys over the course of these several years. It's such an eclectic cast of talent that came together for this wonderful show. Tell us about working with Joe.
Oh, about working with Joe.
Mr. Flanigan.
Mr. Flanigan. Oh my gosh, Joe. Joe. I mean, listen, I have a soft spot in my heart for everyone that I worked with, everyone. And, we became like a family in so many ways. And, I love Joe. Joe was awesome. Joe, Joe loved his newspapers.
He did.
Joe, liked to joke around a little bit. He has this wry sense of humor. And sometimes you're like, wait, what did you say?
I know.
Was that a joke? Yeah. It was lovely working with him. Yeah. He's a lovely guy.
Thank you for watching this clip from Dial the Gate. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving us a thumbs up with that like button. It will encourage the algorithm to show this to other Stargate fans. Also, please consider sending this to a fellow Stargate friend. I also want to invite you to subscribe to future episodes right here on YouTube. We are a live show, so changes are likely to happen all the time. And if you plan on joining us live, you'll want to be the first to know. Be sure to visit dialthegate.com for the complete guest schedule so you'll know when to join us and ask your very own questions to our guests. See you on the other side.